Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself with Wayne. Today we're planting, we got a new planter that's a gardening system. It's made by a company called Earthbox. I'll put a picture of that up where you can see it here in a minute. Also, there was a label inside with a lot more details. We'll put a picture of that up as well here in a few minutes. But like I said, it's a company called Earthbox. They call it a gardening system. It is somewhat self-watering. They don't actually use that term, but that's about what it amounts to. But anyway, you got the box, and the box has a place in the bottom for a water reservoir. And when you fill it, there's a hole right here in the box. It's up 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the bottom. So when you fill it, there's a reservoir of water in the bottom, and that water wicks up to your plants from the bottom up. Now you've got a screen that goes in the bottom. This is it that you put in here. And that keeps your soil from getting down into, keeps your soil from getting down into the area where the water reservoir is at. Now to fill the water reservoir, you got this tube that goes in one corner, like that. So once you've got this filled with soil and you got your plants in there, you fill the water reservoir by pouring water in here. And they tell you just to keep adding water until water comes out the overflow here. That's when you know the reservoir in the bottom is full. So that's how you start. It also comes with casters that we'll be installing on the bottom so you can roll it around on your deck or porch or whatever. And it also comes with soil amendments. There's Domolite, there's also fertilizer. There's 2 different packages in here that we'll be showing you how to put that in with your soil as you add it. And it also comes with these covers. Now these covers are white on one side, they're black on the other side. And what they tell you to do, if your summer temperatures are consistently above 85 degrees, put it white side up. If not, put it black side up. And when you look at this, you'll find a hole in one corner that's for your pipe. It'll go like so. And I got it twisted around the wrong way. But anyway, it expands over the whole box. And they say you can also use mulch or something on the top if you don't want to use this. But after you put it on here, you cut holes in it to plant your plants through that. And that helps hold moisture in. It'll also help a little bit with weeds from getting started if you happen to have some problems with that. The only thing that's not included in this gardening kit is the soil itself. And we've got buckets of soil already mixed up, so that's what we'll be installing into it. Okay, and starting our installation, the first thing we want to do is install the casters on the bottom. You could do this later, but it'd be a lot easier right now. Just push them in, like so. Got all 4. Just like that. I'll turn the box back over and that rolls around. Next thing is to put the tray in the bottom. And if you look at the tray right here, there's a little notch cut out. That has to go where the overflow is at, which is like this. If you turn it this way, it won't seat down in there properly. So look for this notch and make sure that notch goes right there where that little overflow thing is at. All right?
Hello.
And then your overflow pipe, there's a hole in the bottom of the tray for that. Goes right down in there. And I know you can't see it, but down in the bottom, there's some little fins like that's molded into the plastic of the tray that keeps this from going all the way to the bottom, so it lets your water flow out very well when you pour water in here. Now the next thing is to install your soil. And what they tell you to do, if you look inside here, there's corners, okay? They tell you to pack the dirt into those corners really well. It needs to be moist dirt. So we got some moist dirt here. Our soil was pretty dry to start with, so we moistened it up pretty good. But it says to pack it into those corners good, because if you don't, the water won't wick up as well. So get you some, moisten your soil if it's not moist already, so that it packs good into those corners. All right, the next thing they say just to fill it up to within about 2 inches of the top with the rest of your soil. So if I can do this without making a mess, I'm going to start filling this up with our soil. Now this is some soil that we put together from garden soil and peat moss and cow manure that we're also using for a video that we did on planting potatoes in a 5-gallon bucket. If you're interested in that, you may want to look for that video. But it's the same soil. It's just some we still had from that project, so we're using it here. And I think we need maybe a little bit more, because it said fill it up to within about 2 inches of the surface. We'll put one more shovelful in here, and I think that'll do it. Okay, like that. Now the next thing it says to add the dolomite, and it tells you just to, if I can get the package open. You might need scissors or something to open this package. It's kind of a well-made package. I do have my handy little Swiss Army knife that I always carry. So there we go, we're open now. And it just says to spread the whole thing in there. And the package did say that even if you buy garden soil that has fertilizer or whatever already added to it, to still add these components. And then it says to just mix that in with the soil that you got. So we're just going to mix this a bit. I love playing in the dirt. I don't know if y'all watch Facebook much, but that was the thing recently I saw on Facebook that talked about the benefits of dirt, that apparently there's stuff in soil that is, I don't know exactly how they phrased it, but good for you and made you less stressed out and things of that nature. So whether it does or not, I always feel less stressful when I'm working in my garden. So there we go. So that's got the dolomite mixed in. Okay, the next thing is to add the fertilizer. And what they tell you to do is create a trough that's about 2 inches deep down the middle. So I'm going to do that. And they do talk about how you're going to plant your plants in here, because they do talk about different planting patterns depending on what you're going to plant and how many plants you're going to have in here. We're going to do 6, okay, 3 on each side. So, we're going to put our fertilizer right down the middle. And it comes in this package. And I suspect that, yep, can't open that neither without a little Swiss Army knife. Should have just left it out. But it says to just pour the whole thing right down the middle. I'm sure they would mean pour it evenly. All right. Then you just kind of cover it back up with the soil that you got and just leave it right there in the middle like that. And then you finish filling your pot up with soil. And they want it mounded up. I think it says at least 3 or 4 inches above the top, which is up to here. I think that's a bit much for what we're doing, but I am going to mound it up some, maybe just not quite that much. So now I'm going to go ahead and add more soil. That wasn't a dirt clod, that was just a little extra heavy wet spot. This is really some good quality garden soil. It just seems to be ideal for this because you don't really want real heavy garden soil or something out of your yard. because your heavy soils just don't work as well. They tend to pack down real bad, and your roots will have a little more trouble with it. It's better if you got good loose soil, and that's why we purchase soil and peat moss and cow manure and stuff for this. It just makes a better soil for what we're doing. Okay. So there we go. That's what we're going to start with. So that's got our bed ready for our plants. Now we're going to proceed with planting our plants in here. All right, now we got our planter box. It's all set up. We're ready to start planting our plants. We'll start out, we're going to put this net over it. Looks like a hair net. We're going to stretch it down through here. Got a hole there for our watering tube. And there we go. All right, now what it says do is just take and cut holes where you're going to plant. As far as plants, we got basil, we got regular and garlic chives, we got dill, and we got oregano. Now oregano, we're a little concerned because the plants are so small. So what we're going to do, we're going to cut a little bit of a bigger hole. We're going to take our net off, and we're just going to plant the whole pot in the ground for right now. And as the plant gets a little bit bigger, we'll take it out of the pot and put it back in that hole. We just feel like those plants are a little bit too small right now to be trying to transplant them into this bed. But we're going to go ahead and make a place for them in here. So what we're going to do, we're going to put one here, one here, one here, and one here, and one here. Now we're going to put 6 in, but we don't have our 6th plant yet. But anyway, what we're going to do, we're going to cut a hole here. I'm just going to make a little X there. And what I'm going to do for a little oregano plant, I'm just going to make me a hole here, and I'm going to put the whole pot right there, like so. And like I said, after that plant grows a little bit, we'll pull it out and get rid of the pot. And put the plant right back in that little hole. But we're just going to let it sit there for now. Now for the others, we're going to put our dill here. Pull that back a little bit, create us a hole. Excuse me, I'm sorry, this is basil. These are these thicker plants. Some of these we started ourselves, some we purchased at a local farmer that raises stuff like this. So there's that. We got that in there now. And that's our basil. Like I said, this is our oregano. Then we got dill and 2 chives. And I think I'm going to separate the chives, one at each end, just make it easier for us to know which one is which. So I'm going to put one down here in this corner. It's got some good roots on it too. That's looking nice. Stick that down in there, pull the soil up around it a little bit. Make sure all the tops are sticking out. We don't want those tops underneath the plastic. Put that there with it. We'll come down here, that like so. And I'll plant the other one down here just to make it easier to keep up with the 2 different chives because they are a little bit different. Look at them roots, man, that looks great. All right, press that down in there. Pull some dirt up around it. Make sure all the tops are sticking out. Stick our little tag in there so we won't forget which is which. Now we got one more. We got our deal. And I think I'll put it here. I don't think it really matters. If you notice when I cut these X's, I'm tucking the plastic kind of under. That seems to help keep it out of my way more. And keep it away from the plant some. So now we're going to plant this little guy. Again, the farmer that planted these, they're doing really well, got really nice roots there. All right, so there's that. Put our tag next to it so we'll know what it is. And there we go. We're all planted up, ready to go. We just need to fill the reservoir with water now. And I gotta say, and after doing this, I'm not sure I would really like this plastic cover. It just makes it more difficult to plant the plants, but I do understand that it will help keep evaporation so you don't lose so much water moisture from your soil. It will help with that. So it's probably a good thing, but it did make it a little more aggravating to plant the plants, but it's certainly doable. So there we go. So we're going to fill this up with water now and we'll be done. Now we're going to fill up a reservoir of water in the bottom. We've already put one of these watering cans of water in it, but they say fill it up until it runs out the overflow down here. So we're going to keep filling it until we get water come out the bottom. All right, now we got water starting to come out the bottom, finally. This is almost empty, so it took almost 2 of these cans of water to fill it up. So the reservoir in the bottom does hold a pretty good supply of water. As you can see, some ran out, but not a lot, so it held most of 2 of these cans of water. So there we have it. Our self-watering planter from Earthbox. And at the end, right here at the end, I will post photos of the front of the box as well as the label that's on the back so you can see all the details there. And I'd just like to say thank you for visiting Do It Yourself with Wayne, and we hope you have a great gardening season.